Hey there, this is an update to the Costing Master tutorial. If you have looked at the other one, you'll notice that there's a few things that have changed that have made it a little bit easier for you, so this is an update. So let's say you want to make your first cake using the Cake Ninja. So what you'll do is you'll go to your Costing Master, which is always going to stay clean and clear, and you will make a copy, which is to duplicate, which means you go down here to this little tab, click the little triangle, and then duplicate, and all these other options will come up. So let's make a pretend cake for Smith. Whoops. And I've changed the name so that now I know that when I'm on this tab, I'm only working on that Smith cake, right? So as you can see, the Costing Master has stayed nice and clean. Everything's still blank, but what you're going to do now is work on the Smith cake. So you'll click on that tab. Okay, so this is J. Smith. She wants a Star Wars cake. I'm just typing this in. She wants 16 servings. Her due date, click that twice and it'll come up. Put in whatever the due date is. She's going to pay me or has paid me by credit card. I've already put this in, so it came up. And I'm estimating that this is going to take me about 5 hours to do. And the delivery is probably going to take me about 45 minutes, so I'll put 0.75, 3/4 of an hour. And the miles is going to be 10 miles there, 10 miles back, so I'll put 20. Okay. Now, do I have, if I keep going to the right, are there any extra toppers? No, but if there were, I would go ahead and put that price in there. And any miscellaneous things, like if I were to have to buy a Star Wars figurine or something that's not covered elsewhere, you'd put it here. Okay, so we'll go down and start costing the actual cake. What she wants is a chocolate cake, and she wants, it's going to be SMBC frosting, which I'm going to color and use. She wants raspberry filling. So how do I know how much that chocolate cake costs? And how much do I need of that chocolate cake? So what I'm going to do is go down here a little further. My dark chocolate cake is $6.37 for one recipe. So I'm going to put $6.37 here. Okay, but how do I know how many recipes I need for that particular cake? Now, I kind of know in my head, and I bet a lot of you do too, that I need one. But let's say it's for a size that I've never made before and I'm not sure. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go down here to my chart. And my chart will tell me if it's 2 layers 4 inches high, 3, 4, what I'm going to need, how many grams or cups for each kind of pan shape. And I'm thinking for 16, I'm going to do a 3-layer 6-inch. And I'm right about there. It'll serve 18 people, but maybe she wants to serve 50 people. Okay, so then that tells me I need to go down to the 11-inch. Okay, so you can just find how many servings you need, and then it'll take you to the pan size for any whichever layer number you have, 3 or 2 or 4. But I know, but I'm going to do a 6-inch. It's going to feed about 18, so we're good. So that's going to make me need 1282 on my grams, and or about 6 3/4 cups of batter. Okay, so now I know that. I might want to make a note of that with pen and paper somewhere. So let's look. I need 1282 since I'm working in grams. So let's go back to Smith. Now I know when I look at my individual recipe costs that my dark chocolate cake makes about $13.70. I hadn't put that in there yet. So I needed 1,200 and something, so that means just one recipe will do me just fine. So Going to go back to Smith. I know I need one recipe, and that will calculate right there. Okay. Now, how much does my SMBC cost? First, we'll find out. I use this recipe, and it's $7.64 for one recipe. So I put that in there. And once again, I go back to that chart. I'd find out how many grams or cups of frosting I need. And I'm pretty sure I need one recipe. So that will calculate down there. I'm not going to do fondant, so let me just take this away. That's a little glitch that won't be on your website, on your spreadsheet. Okay, and I know we need raspberry filling. So let's go down and get my cost for raspberry filling. And it's $3.54. And so we'll put $3.54 in there. And once again, I found out from my individual recipe costs that my raspberry filling gives me, okay, where did I put raspberry filling? I think it was down here. Here we go. Makes 1 cup. I haven't put the grams in yet, but as I make the next one, I will go ahead and measure it and put the grams in. But I know it makes 1 cup. So I'm thinking 1 cup will probably be enough for those 2 layers and probably a little extra. So let's say I probably only need maybe 0.75 of a cup. So that's going to tell me what that's going to cost. Okay, so if also the order included cupcakes or other treats or more cakes or even more cakes, there's room for you to put extra things in there. So say she wanted another flavor cake, you'd do the same thing down here. So I'm also going to use some cake boards. I'm going to use probably 2 or 3. I'm going to put 3 cake boards because I like one underneath and one. Actually no, I only like one underneath, and I don't have any layers that I'm going to need to worry about. So I'm only going to need 1 cake board round. I'm not going to need cupcake liners or dowels or anything like that, but if I did, they'd be right there. So now as I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking I might use a few dashes of disco dust, and I probably will make a fondant figurine, or I might be making a sugar sheet backed with fondant with the Star Wars logo or something like that. So let's go ahead and put fondant. We're going to add that fondant for the logo. Whoops. And I know that my fondant I'm not going to use very much, so let's just say, well, let's see how much my fondant is first. Well, I guess I don't have fondant listed on there yet. So, pretty sure that my fondant is about $4.50 for a pound, but I'm not going to use anywhere near a pound. So let's just say I'm going to use 0.05, 5% of a pound. But I am going to use a sugar sheet that I'm going to print the Star Wars logo on, and those cost me about $1 each, so I'm going to put that here. Maybe I'll put $2 to cover the cost of the edible ink. So there's my cake, frosting, fondant, and filling all covered, and all that comes up here. That's how much my cake cost, my frosting, my fondant, my filling. I did not make any extra treats, so that's $0. There's no topper because she's going to provide a little Star Wars figurine. I had 58 cents for my cake board. What I paid myself in labor to do that. The miscellaneous costs for the sugar sheet and the edible print. The delivery fee. And this number here calculates based on all of these as a 5% overhead for things like wear and tear on your mixer energy for your microwave, for your lights, for your hot water, propane, or energy for your stove, and all those things that are a little bit hard to quantify. So I just take 5% for overhead. So once you've put all that in, that's all you really have to do. The rest is done for you. So you're now going to go over to this profit summary. And this is telling me it cost me $167 to make that cake. Ingredients and labor. That's all of these together. This number represents all of this added together. Now, this number, again, since it's yellow, you can put anything you want in there, so you can fool around with this. But this chart down here is a good way for you to get some sense of an idea of what your ballpark should be. So if you want to make a 30% profit margin, you should charge $238. So let's put $238 in there. Okay, so if you put that in there, you're making $14 a slice, $70 in profit at a 30% margin. But you're saying to yourself, you know what, this is a friend, or I'm not sure that will fly in this community, so you're gonna go down a little bit. So let's say you quote them $175. If you quote them $175, that's $10 a serving. Your profit is $7.80, not too much, only 4%. So you can fool with this number all you want until you come up with something that makes sense to you and that seems like a fair price that will work. Now, I suggest that you get near to this 30% margin. That is really a minimum. And if you're not charging enough and people start balking that have come to you before, you just have to tell them ingredients go up, cost of labor goes up, and so things have to be going up a little bit. But almost always, I worry about a quote that I've given at this range or even this range, and they come back and they say, okay, that's fine, no problem. So you just have to realize some people are not your customer. And don't sell yourself short, because it's not fair to you and the other bakers in your area. So just ignore all this, because that's just some goofing around that I've been doing trying to make the spreadsheet better. Now, this is your area to write some notes in, and I suggest that you do that. You should write specifics about they want this, they want that, it's going to be this kind of a cake, this many layers, whatever you need to do to make sure that you remember all the things that you talked about or you texted about so that everything's all in one place. So that's how you work your costing master, and then you quote them based on this little baby right here. This is where all your attention is going to be. And fool around with this number a little bit, see where you can get where it feels comfortable to you, but don't sell yourself short. So thank you. I hope that really helps getting you started on how to do a costing for any kind of a cake or treats or cupcakes. Thank you. Bye-bye.